Hey everybody, Richard here. Hey, got a quick message about, is it worth it? And what do I mean by that? Well, it's a concept that I have been talking about a lot lately and thinking a great deal more about. The question, why do some people do this and other people don't do it? Why do people do the work to build a business and other people don't? Why is it that people tell us they don't have time and they don't have the money and they don't want to talk to their friends and they don't like doing one of those things and all of those other excuses, and yet, you know, they do all sorts of other crazy things? And what is our job? What is our job as network marketing leaders and enrollers? And here's how I see our job. Here's how I see the number one skill, the number one leadership role that we have in building an empire in network marketing is to raise our confidence and our competency level on being able to show people how the work is worth it. How the work is worth it. So, you know, here's what people see as the work. Quote, the work. And this is without a lot of training. Of course, people on your team, they also need to be convinced that the work is worth it. They know what the work is. But here's what a prospect sees as the work. And the reason they don't engage with us is not because they don't have time, they don't have the money, not because they don't want to talk to their friends, and not even because they don't want to do one of those deals. It's because they don't think it's worth it. They don't think putting themselves out there is worth what they're going to get in return. And here's what they see as the work, a prospect. Number one thing that a prospect sees as the work is that they see, in order to do this, they're going to probably have to kind of be like you, which means they're going to have to declare to their network that they are one. And they probably have told people for years, I would never ever do one of those. So the first thing they think about is, oh my gosh, I would have to be one. Everybody I know would have to know that I am one. That's part of the work. See, they see that as work. That's something they don't want to do. That's a price that they have to pay. And it weighs on them. And then, of course, they kind of get clear that, okay, not only do I have to declare that I am one, but I kind of have the sense that to be successful, I'm going to have to do what you're doing, and I'm going to have to call everybody I know and ask them if they want to be one. I don't want to do that. That lands as work, right? That's work. That's a price to pay. That's discomfort. And then there's, of course, is time. And so, you know, the idea that people don't have time, that's not true at all. We know that's not true at all. What's true is that we all have the same amount of time, and so what we've done is we just filled up our time with things that are important to us, things that we want to do. You know, the last person you want to recruit is somebody who says, oh yeah, I got 2 hours a day where I just sit out in the backyard and stare at the clouds because I got nothing to do. This is perfect for me. You can pass on them, right? They don't have any ambition. They don't have any creativity. You want the person who's filled up and overflowing, right? They're busy. They're ambitious. So the reason they say no is they understand that part of the work is going to be they're going to have to give up some things. And these are things they enjoy doing, right? And the way they see what we're offering them is they're not going to enjoy doing it. That's work. So there's just three things that a prospect sees as work. And so what they do is they tell us, I don't have time, I don't have the money, I don't want to do one of those things, I don't like to sell, right? All of that stuff. But here's what we know is true. None of that is true. They're lying about all of that, not intentionally. They just, in the moment, they believe it. They don't know what they don't know about their own motives. But imagine this. Imagine you went to people and you said, well, here's the deal. You got to declare that you're a network marketer. You got to put that all over social media. You got to call everyone you know. Let's say we're going to do it at a pace of one person a day. So you got to call one person a day or message one person a day and tell them, hey, I'm in this thing. It's an opportunity. I don't know if it's for you. Like, you got to go through that one a day. But, hey, you know what? How you're going to get paid is $500 a day. Any of you that have ever seen the not-so-secret formula kind of get a clue of what I'm talking about here. What if the comp plan that our companies paid us on was they paid us $500 for one invite a day? We got to invite one person a day. We don't have to present to them. We don't have to get them in. We don't have to sell them product. We just have to ask them if they'll take a look. Just take a look. That's what we get paid for. Why does the company pay us $500 for asking people to just take a look? Because the company knows that if we would do that every day, the company knows this, that if we would invite just one person a day every day, we would eventually build an empire. How does the company know that? Well, the company keeps track of how many people are in the company now that are inviting one person a day. It's hardly anybody, right? It's like 1 out of 10,000. So if we could get like everybody to invite one person a day, what the company knows is this whole thing would explode. You guys would make all kinds of money because you'd be making $500 a day. So the financial opportunity would be $15,000 a month. So instead of going to your prospects and saying, hey, I got 19 different ways to get paid in my patented compensation plan, there's only one way you get paid. You get $500 a day, but you got to ask one person a day if they'll just take a look. That's the financial opportunity. There's nothing more to it. That's how you get paid. You make $15,000 a month, and it'll take you maybe at the max 30 minutes a day. But yes, you have to tell everybody you know that you are one of those people now. And you do have to call people one a day and say, hey, here I am. You probably knew I'd show up sooner or later. Well, here I am. It's your lucky day. You are the one that I'm asking today if you'll just take a look. That's what you got to do. So now think about it. If that was the opportunity, think about all these people that don't have time, don't like to sell, don't want to talk to their friends. If all they had to do was ask people to take a look for $15,000 a month, you notice how people would tend to say yes? So what inspired me to talk about this today is some of you know that Seth Godin is one of, if not my most favorite thought leader on the planet. Speaking of one a day, Seth writes a blog every day, 7 days a week, every day. For I should look it up, but something like 9 years now or something. Every day. Probably takes him, 10 minutes. He probably thinks about it, throughout the day and I know he reads a lot of stuff, studies a lot of stuff, gets a few ideas and bangs out a few words and writes a blog every day. So why is Seth Godin like best-selling author of like 13 books, one of the most sought-after platform speakers in the world, one of the smartest guys in the world, why is he so highly regarded? Why is he a multi-millionaire? Probably makes $1 million, $2 million a year just in being Seth Godin. Why? Because he blogs every day. Every day, one a day, every day. And, the people that build empires in network marketing, they talk to one person a day or the equivalent. They may do a 10-day burst once a month, or they have their system. But the end result is, if you looked at their stats, they're talking to at least one person a day, every day. And, maybe they take Sundays off. That's fine. One a day, 6 days a week. You know what? That gets it done too. But here was Seth's blog this morning, and it's all triggered off of the current lottery. So this just caught me by surprise yesterday. I saw, I think, something on the news about it. I missed it. I guess there's a lot of people in the world paying attention to it. But I guess the lottery, Powerball or something tonight, is worth $2.2 or $2.4 billion. And there is an absolute frenzy. The reason it keeps going up is nobody's won it since one of them since July and one of them since August. But the higher the numbers go, the more there's this frenzy for people to buy tickets, a $2 ticket. Well, Seth did the math, which I appreciate the math. He did the math on what the odds are of winning the lottery. So the odds of winning the Mega Millions lottery is 1 in 1.6 billion. So that's not only one person in the United States, that's like one person out of all of the United States, all of South America, and maybe all of Europe. One person out of all those people. And then he quantifies the odds, which is a really important strategy for painting a picture, casting a vision for people so that they get it, right? So here's how he does it. You are 400 times more likely to be hit by lightning tonight. 400 times than you are to win the lottery. So it's $2 for a lottery ticket. So Seth took it to one level further and said, here's the logic. The odds of getting struck by lightning are, I don't know, 1 in 400, 1.6 this. Okay, let's say 1 in 400 million. You know, that's pretty rare. You and I probably don't know anybody. I personally do not know anybody that's ever been struck by lightning. I grew up outside boating on lakes, you know, all year long in the middle of storms, golfing. I've never been struck by lightning. I don't know anybody that's been struck by lightning. But you know, it happens, right? It's about as often as a fatal shark attack or something. But what Seth said is, spending $2 for a lottery ticket is the equivalent mentality of spending $800 a day for a device that would keep you from getting hit by lightning. I love how he comes up with these quantifications. So here's my point of tying Seth's article, and I'm going to post it in the comments so you can read it. And is the work worth it? So why are people buying lottery tickets, the odds of which they're winning are just like incalculable? It is, to buy a lottery ticket is stupid. It's the dumbest $2 you could ever spend. But why do people do it? Because however irrational, that little tiny conversation they get in their head about, oh, what if? What if? What if? I guess if you take the one-time payment, you get $980 million. One time. That's like the one-time payout, which I would recommend you take if you win it. One-time payment, you can invest that and easily get a 10% return, which is $98 million a year just in interest, which is about $8.5 million a month, or about $2 million a week. You never touch your $980 million. That's always there. It's just $2 million a week walking around money. The idea of what if, even though it's completely detached from reality and any sense of reality at all, just being able, here's the point that I got from Seth's blog, just being able to fantasize for a minute is worth $2. It's not the odds of winning. I mean, people, I'm sure, hopefully are smart enough to know that they're not going to win. Of course, somebody's going to win eventually. But that's not what they're paying for. What they're paying for is that brief moment of being able to, what if? What if I actually had more money than I could spend? And that's our job, folks. Our job is to cast a vision for people and change their state, because their state, when we're first talking to them, is locked down, it's closed. You don't want to close people to get them in the business. You want to open them. You want to open people up. And did I lose my connection? I'll just go on as though I didn't. What we want to do is cast that vision and ask people, you know, what if? What if this little company, you know, in Dallas or Salt Lake City or, San Francisco or wherever my company's located. What if this little company sent you a check for $1,000 a month for the rest of your life? I mean, you're 70, 80, 90 years old, you're getting this check for $1,000 a month. What if right now you're 35 years old, what if you started getting $1,000 a month from totally separate source and you knew you were going to get it every month, forever? How would that change your life? How would that change your decisions, right? What our job is to get people to start to visualize, start to imagine, just like those people that are buying that $2 lottery ticket. And because it changes their state, it changes their body chemistry in the moment. And then if they'll let us show them, our job is to show them how the work is worth it. So, if you take the prospect that we talked about early on, why don't they want to do it? It's because the work in their mind isn't worth it. The work of declaring, talking to people, being a salesperson, being a recruiter, giving up things they like to do, it's not worth it. Well, how do they know it's not worth it? Like, do they understand how the compensation plan works? Do they understand the 4-year career? Do they understand how money is developed? Do they understand the difference between earned income and asset income? Do they understand how big of a team, or actually how small of a team, a person needs before their income tips from earned to asset income? Do they understand all these distinctions? The answer is no, they don't. And it's our job to own these distinctions and have mastery of these distinctions and be able to show people how the work is worth it. One of the ways you can do that is study the secret formula. So if you want to show people, like, hey, what if the company paid you $500 for just talking to one person a day? Then would you do it? And you say, well, yeah, man, maybe $500 a day, 15 grand a month. What do I have to say to them? Just ask them if they'll take a look. And what if they say, yeah, I'll take a look? Well, call me and I'll present the opportunity to them, right? That's all you got to do, right? They say, well, okay, I could do that. It's $500 a day. Yeah, $500 a day. Then you could show them the secret formula and show them how, what? The odds are actually, if you do the work, it's not $500 an invite. It's more like $2,000 or $3,000 an invite. Now I realize that's a stretch, takes some work. People have to believe that. It's just a model. But that's what we get paid for, folks. We get paid for taking people from the state of disbelief, from the state of it's not worth it, from the state of why would I buy a lottery ticket, it's not worth it, right? To showing them how it's worth it. Now in the case of the current lottery, the only way it's worth it is for that few seconds of being able to fantasize. That's worth $2, right? But what's worth people declaring that they're a network marketer? What's worth people talking to all their friends and being one of those people? What's worth people giving up what they're doing now in their spare time and putting this in? What's worth that? Well, I want to tell you folks that what's not worth it is extra money. So you want to lose that from your vocabulary. This is an opportunity to make extra money. People can make extra money doing what they're doing now for a living. All they have to do is work more hours, right? If they need a second job, they can go get a second job from 1,000, 1,500, a million different places. Go to Walmart, make an extra $500 a month. Go to Walmart, and you work at Walmart 2 hours a day and 4 hours on weekends and make $1,000, $1,500 a month. If people wanted that, they'd do it. They don't want that, not bad enough. And that's not the opportunity we have to offer. There's nothing unique about $1,000 a month. There's a million places to make that. But where can you work for a couple of years, work your way up to $1,000 a month, and then get paid $1,000 a month for the rest of your life? You can't do that at Walmart. You can't do that anywhere else except here. Network marketing is the only place you can do that, not starting with money. If you start with a couple hundred grand, yeah, invest it, get paid $1,000 a month for the rest of your life. But where can you start with nothing and leverage your time and money? And you get 4 or 5 people to become a raving fan of a product authentically, and they get 4 or 5 people to become a raving fan, and they get 4 or 5 people, and they get 4 or 5 people, and all of a sudden you got 300 or 400 people on your team, maybe in 4 or 5 different countries. And now that income shifts from earned to asset. You get somewhere around 300 or 400 people on your team in the right company with the right products, that's asset income. Right products, you can't stop that income. That income's just going to carry on. In fact, it's probably going to grow. Now, how much did you invest? Nothing. What did you do? You did the work. You declared that you are one. You talked to people that you know. And you gave up some of your time, right? And why would you do that? You will only do that. Prospects will only do that when they believe the worth is worth it. And folks, it's not worth it for some extra money, and it's not worth it for the 19 different ways our comp plan pays you, because you can't even explain those 19 ways. And they certainly don't understand them, and they don't interpret from the document, oh my God, this is worth it. They don't. That's our job. That's my message. Master the art of showing people how the work is worth it. And they may start off saying they don't have time, they don't want to sell, they don't want to be one of those people, they don't want to do any of those things, they don't want to give up their free time. But you show them how it's worth it, and their tune changes. Just like mine changed, just like probably yours changed. If this was valuable, share it. If it was not so valuable, delete it. Thank you for joining me tonight. Sarah Zalecki from the ranch. You can tell I'm at the ranch because I got Indian pictures everywhere. Thank you all for joining me. Over and out.